off the stage for a minute. We'll keep this pretty informal, okay? So you've got questions, jump in. It's a small group here, so we'll keep it pretty conversational. I do want to go through just a few things with you in terms of Bridgestone and Firestone. And then what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit more. Justin Hayes, another Justin in the back, will come up and he'll talk about a lot of the details on the MT2 in terms of the product. Okay? So in 2017, just very high level, we're launching a lot of new products. And so you can see across the top some Firestone All Seasons, some Bridgestone products, and then you see in the middle the Destination MT2, which I've seen people taking pictures of, is right here, right? So a great performing tire, a great looking tire if you look at the aesthetic of it as well. Across the bottom, you see a lot of the ways that we activate our brands. So Bridgestone and Firestone, I'll talk about both, but we activate through a lot of sport properties for Bridgestone to help build our awareness. We're official tire of the NFL, the NHL, I'll talk a little bit more about that too. But a lot of activity going on for sure in 2017 for us. When we think about the history of Bridgestone and the history of Firestone, we've got a long history, and it's a history that we're proud of. Bridgestone started in 1931, okay? 1931 in Japan. And then as we kind of think about Firestone started about 90 years ago as well in Akron by Harvey Firestone. In 1983, Bridgestone acquired a plant in Tennessee, and then our company came together as Bridgestone and Firestone in 1988. So a lot of history, and I think why that matters is, a lot of history, but then a lot of also kind of moving forward and thinking about the future. So we don't rest on our laurels. Our mission, and we don't need to read through all of this, but the mission at Bridgestone, so Bridgestone Corporation, is serving society with superior quality. And this is one that we take very seriously. Justin will talk about the product in a minute, but we take it very seriously in terms of the product and in terms of everything else that we do. All right, let me just talk a few about here, and Rachel mentioned this before. 1 in 6 tires in the world, these are a couple of bragging slides, so sorry about that. But 1 in 6 tires made in the world is manufactured by Bridgestone. 8 consecutive years as the world's largest tire and rubber manufacturer. These are big numbers that we take seriously. When we think about that and we think about where we have operations, 180 manufacturing plants and R&D facilities in 25 countries. And then as we think about manufacturing, 77 tire plants all across the world. A lot in the Americas, Japan, China, Asia, and then Europe as well. And some of the product that you'll see here today, we can kind of source from all these different places. So we take the best places that we can produce the things, and that's where we get them from. A lot from the Americas as we talk. And then $1 billion in R&D investment. And that's what you see, the results is what you see behind us here, right? So over $1 billion invested annually because we've got the size, because we're the largest in the world, we've got the scale to make big investments in terms of R&D. And we invest $1 billion a year. We've got a ton of patents, so 926 patents, as you can see here, from 05 till now. And why all that really matters is because it allows us to deliver these great products. Justin will go into the products in a few minutes, but that's why all these numbers really matter. Let me talk for a minute as we skip forward. I already talked about that. Let me keep going. Okay, real quick, when we think about products, it's not just a bunch of people in a room saying, I think we need this. We really start with the end consumer, okay? And we call the end consumer the boss because that's kind of front and center to all of us. So we think about the boss a lot, but just think about it's the end consumer. And so as we think about these products, we really start there. And we start by segmenting those consumers. And I'll talk about it in a minute a little bit more. But there could be some that are more concerned with safety, some that are more concerned with price, some that are hobbyists, some that are enthusiasts. And it really starts there. And then we develop concepts around those products as you kind of keep going around, developing new products, creating marketing plans, and that's my job to deliver those stories through marketing plans and then launching products. So let me just spend a minute more on segmentation. And I don't expect you to read through all these words here. But as we've gone out and looked at the consumer segments, we've really identified 8 that we think make up the market. And if we start at the top right, you can see price is about 9%. So these are people that just all they care about is price, right? That's all they care about. Practical, 24%, is primarily concerned with price, but have a little bit more feature and quality level that they're looking for too. Safety is a big one. So you can see safety is 28%. I'll talk about safety as I talk about Bridgestone in a few minutes. Of course, all tires we want to be safe, but when we think about Bridgestone, we definitely position Bridgestone around that safety-minded consumer. If we keep coming around, you'll see enthusiasts down at the bottom, about 8%, work hard, play hard, which is about 13%, which is our Firestone customer. So when we think about Firestone, we really think about that work hard, play hard customer, social, and then hobbyist as we go. Make sense? Yeah. Again, you don't need to digest it all right away, but just important to know that, when we design these tires, when we market these tires, we start with that end consumer and we think about what's important to them. Okay, let me talk a little bit about Bridgestone. So I said a minute ago, in terms of Bridgestone, we talk a lot about safety. And the way that we message that is we message it through trusted performance when you need it most. And there's some key words there. Trusted performance is one. And then when you need it most also, right? When do you need it most? Maybe it's a rainy day. Maybe it's a snowy day. Maybe there's somebody just came out in front of you and you've got to stop real short. So when you need those tires to perform, we want Bridgestone to be the one that you can trust to do that. You'll see us message through the engineers, and when you see some commercials and things, these are just some of the images that you'll see us use with Bridgestone. I said sports before. Bridgestone is really the brand, in terms of our portfolio of brands, that we activate through sports. So we are the official, I said this before, official tire of the NHL, PGA Tour, NFL, and Olympics. And I'll tell you, just as a marketer, boy, what better properties to have a chance to work on. These are pretty good ones, right? They're pretty big ones. And what that allows us to do is create awareness for the Bridgestone brand. It allows us to have some really prime placements and things and really tell our story. All right, we won't go through every one of these, I promise, but this is kind of what we'll call a 360 chart in terms of marketing. And so these are all the things that we do, that my team does from a marketing side to help activate that Bridgestone brand. If you look across the top, you'll see product, Blizzak, Drive Guard. If you know our Drive Guard product, it's the first full line of product that allows you to drive 50 miles after a puncture. And then you'll see our Dueler tire, which is our truck and SUV tire, great 80,000 mile warranty. I don't have a lot of detail in it here in terms of digital, but just understand, and you guys all know this too, because this is how I'm sure you push out all your media. Digital is more and more important to us every single day. We've got a whole team that's working on that all the time, whether it be social, whether it be our websites, whether it be YouTube, whether it be any of these places that we think where we can connect with consumers. Digital is for sure a place that we're shifting more and more of our dollars to. In-store is still important, right? A lot of these purchase decisions are still made in-store, so we want to make sure we have the right materials and tell the right stories there as well. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. One more on Bridgestone. So I wouldn't be doing my job as the brand marketing person if I didn't show you a couple commercials, right? I think that's part of the job. That's part of probably one of the interview questions. But one of the ads that we came out with last year, and in terms of us being active with the NFL, is we came up with an ad of Larry Fitzgerald. And I don't know if people know Larry Fitzgerald or not, but he's a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. He's had a long career, a very successful career, and he's very active in the community as well. So just a great representation of the things that we want to do with the Bridgestone brand. So let me just show you an ad that we, it's not on the air right now because it's not NFL season, but it was last year in NFL season and it will be again this year. Let me show you that one. Let me start it over so we have some fun. Ready? In the back? All right, here we go.
Bridgestone engineers are helping All-Pro receiver Larry Fitzgerald go long.
I don't need help going along.
Bridgestone's Dueler Lenza Plus is our longest lasting SUV and truck tire. It's engineered to go 80,000 miles.
Oh, it's over 14 million first downs.
Oh, dang, I love anything that goes long. Long hair, long passes, long careers,
Long division.
long dogs.
You can do this for 80,000 miles.
You can walk if you like.
I don't want to walk there.
You don't have to. Long hugs, long weekends.
So pretty fun, right? I mean, you can see that Bridgestone message is kind of optimistic and humorous and things like that. If you remember the beginning of that ad, we watched it kind of twice there. If you remember the beginning of that ad, Larry Fitzgerald kind of runs into the scene and he catches a pass, right? Well, I don't know if people have been out on a commercial shooter. We got some people from our agencies here, right? They have been on commercial shoots. But you can't just have somebody standing off to the side and throwing them a pass. You actually have to pay somebody to throw them a pass, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it was only like a 10-yard pass, right, from like here to that tire. But we hired somebody to do it, right? The guy was awful. He was terrible. He missed many of these passes. So we actually created a blooper reel. We talk about social and things, and we put this up online and got some great feedback and great interactions. But we created a blooper reel. This isn't made up. This guy really missed this many passes. So let me show you this one real quick. It's kind of fun.
Today, Bridgestone engineers are helping All-Pro receiver Larry Fitzgerald go long.
Look at that.
Helping All-Pro receiver Larry Fitzgerald go long. Helping All-Pro receiver Larry Fitzgerald go long. All-Pro receiver. Today, Bridgestone engineers are helping All-Pro receiver one, Larry Fitzgerald, go long.
I don't need any help with my lines.
That's pretty good, right? That makes me every time I see it. That's good, right? So, I mean, so just some ways that we can interact with people that are kind of fun. So that's the Bridgestone brand. Trusted performance when you need it most. A lot of activity through sports and sports properties and great products, including Drive Guard and Dueler and Blizzak and others behind. I'll just spend a couple minutes on Firestone and then I'll turn it over to Justin to really talk about the product. But when we think about Firestone, we think about hardworking, we think about durable, we think about that work hard, play hard consumer, right? When we think about Firestone, one of the ways, or one of the big ways that we activate with Firestone is through what we call truck stuff. And I think, Rachel, the hashtag is truck stuff as you go out and probably take pictures and things like that, hopefully right now and then over the next couple of days. But truck stuff matters to us. And when we think about what that Firestone consumer, that Firestone boss, what's important to them, it really can get wrapped up in truck stuff. And that doesn't mean that 100% of the people drive a truck, but they wish they would, and some of them do. And they would all probably wish they get a chance to do what we're going to go do tomorrow, which as a side note, I had a chance to go out there today. We're going to have a great time. It's really fun, really, really fun. As a person that kind of grew up halfway in the city, this is stuff I don't get to do every day, so it's pretty cool. But in terms of Firestone, I'll keep going here. What we do for Firestone is first of all, we're with the Indy 500. So performance and performance tires with IndyCar, if it's good enough for IndyCar, it ought to be good enough for your truck, your car. So we've been with IndyCar for a long, long time. We are the official sponsor of IndyCar for Firestone. May, of course, is a huge month for IndyCar, and we'll be back at the track for the 101st this year running of the Indy 500. If we go across the top, we also activate through country music with Firestone. When we think about all those things that I just described for that Firestone consumer, a lot of those also layer into country music. So country music, you'll see us in award shows, you'll hear us on the radio, you'll see us do a lot of stuff through country music. And then as we kind of go around digital into the store, just like I mentioned for Bridgestone, that's still very important for Firestone. All right, so I talked about Indy 500 a little bit. Deepa's in the room here. She's from our ad agency, Wheel, and works with us on Firestone. They had a great idea last year that if you go back to this page, hopefully recognizable, you can see up at the top right there is Mario Andretti. So some people know IndyCar drivers, some people don't. Some people know the current drivers, some people don't. But most everybody knows who Mario Andretti is. And so we've had a long-term relationship with Mario Andretti that allows us to do some interesting things and have some fun with him. And so last year we actually created a thing that we called Race Andretti. And what it was it was a contest that lived online. It ran through the month of May. And you had a chance to film yourself doing a video that allowed you to race Mario, right? And so what it was just kind of everyday tasks. So last year it was things like peel an orange. Can you peel an orange faster than Mario Andretti? One was wrapping up a vacuum cord. Can you wrap a vacuum cord faster than Mario Andretti? And it's really just fun. It was really fun. And it was one of the most engaging properties that we had in terms of digital all of last year. So the consumer really, really liked it, interacted with it, and posted a ton of videos. So if you have a good idea, you might as well bring it back for the next year. And so we're going to do the same thing in 2017. We're going to start, actually this Friday, starting this Race Andretti for 2017. And a lot of the same things allowing you to race Mario, post videos, have fun with it. And let me just show you, so this is kind of, it's not done. So apologies to Leo Burnett, it's not quite done yet. But almost done. Let me show you the introduction video to our 2017 Race Andretti.
Did Mario Andretti win the Indy 500 by following on the track? No. So, off the track, he doesn't follow either. He doesn't follow boy bands. He doesn't follow his own grandkids. He doesn't follow the food pyramid. But will he follow you? Not unless you're up for a race. Visit raceandretti.com to learn how to enter the Race Andretti contest. Post a video of yourself doing the 500 race, and you could win a chance to be followed by a legend on social media.
Good luck. You're going to need it.
That was pretty fun. So starting this weekend, look for that raceandretti.com, look for that hashtag. It's a fun activation for sure. My job's not tough all the time, and for sure sitting in Chicago with Mario Andretti for a day filming that stuff wasn't a tough day. It was pretty fun. It's pretty cool stuff. So we're excited about that. Okay, enough of the marketing stuff, and enough of the kind of telling these stories and everything else. I'm going to turn it over to Justin Hayes now. This is the part that you're really here for. This is the part that you're really interested in. I don't take offense that this is the part you're interested in. We'll turn it over to Justin. He's going to talk about truck stuff, and we'll talk about the MT2 tires specifically. Thanks, everybody. Hang on. Sorry. If I knew my slides. Let's do one more. Sorry. I just said that we were almost done, but we do have one more story. So also, thank you, right? We've got a new ad coming out that's going to also launch this week that builds on our truck stuff story. So this one's pretty fun. It's the same kind of idea that I said before, which is not everybody drives a truck, but everybody wishes that they could, right? So let's just look at this one real quick. Then I promise I'll turn it over to Justin.
You got a truck for a reason, remember? So get some Firestone tires and go do truck stuff. Farm to table stuff. Free range stuff. All the fixing stuff. Firestone Destination LE2. Built for maximum wet traction and 60,000 miles of truck stuff.
Who's hungry?
Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
All right, so pretty fun, right? And built on that idea of truck stuff for sure. So now, with that said, we'll turn it over to Justin. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks, Justin. So that was a little bit about Bridgestone, who we are, since you're members of the media, a little bit about where you're going to see our brands and where we position our brands in the media. My name's Justin Hayes. I'm a product manager at Bridgestone. And honestly, this is an event that I've been waiting my whole career for. The predecessor to the tire brand, we're going to talk about the Destination MT2 today. The predecessor product, the Firestone Destination MT, launched in 2002. 15 years old, and it's held its ground. It's done well for 15 years. It's proven itself. But tire years are kind of like dog years, right? So the current product, it's kind of like an octogenarian. It's getting pretty old. So we kind of listened. We listened to the market, listened to our dealers. It's time for this product. So the development of our previous generation product would have finalized in about 2001. We've been wrapping up. So think back to 2001. What was the hottest new piece of technology on the market back then? Everybody think of it? Razor. The original Apple iPod. Okay. Now my coworker, the product manager on the car side of our portfolio, just bought a new Samsung phone. And with it, he got a set of virtual reality goggles. Okay, so think about that, how much technology has changed from 2001 to now, going from an iPod, little, 4 gigs of memory, the little pixelated screen where you kind of scroll up and down, and you can play and skip forward, and that was it, to virtual reality. So that analogy with how far technology is advanced, I can tell you that is how far our computer-aided design for our tires has advanced as well. So on the marketing side, we like to say things like computer modeling and computer-aided design. It's kind of hard to convey the meaning of it, but I started at Tech Center in 2006, and I've seen what our virtual programs can do just from 2006 to now. So if we go back to 2001, it's incredible how much the technology has evolved with $1 billion a year that Justin was talking about earlier, and that's really what's giving us the features and benefits in this product. So without further ado, let's start talking about the Destination MT2. It's the latest in a string of new Firestone launches. So last year there were 3 Firestone launches on the passenger side, touring and performance. This year we have 4 Firestone launches, and those 7 tires together represent 56% of our Firestone brand volume. So a lot of new technology, a lot of new things we have out in the market, keeping our products best in class and relevant. So here's the 4 that are launching this year, and the Destination MT2 that I'm going to talk about is on the right. But I want to say for some of you are very familiar with the truck market, some less so. So just broadly, let me say there's 4 different types of tires you can put on a truck. So you can put a highway tire, which is intended for on-road use, kind of like the Firestone Destination LE2 you see sitting over there. Next, we'll move to an all-terrain tire or on-off-road off-road use. So we have our Firestone Destination AT as an example of that. The third tire is an MT tire, maximum traction, people call them mud tires. This is an off-road tire with the most off-road capability you can get in a consumer tire. That's what we're going to talk about today. And then the fourth category is when you can have a dedicated winter tire as well. And the Firestone brand is our winter force line. So again, there's 4 categories of tires, and it's really based on where you're intending to take the vehicle, what type of look you like in a tire. So we're going to talk about the MT2 today. Tough enough to go wherever the trail takes you. I'm going to walk you through a little bit of technology, but first we're going to have a video that's going to introduce the product. So kind of a little bit of a preview of what you're going to experience tomorrow too. The rain holds off, maybe a little more on the dirt side. We do get a little rain, a little muddier, but you know, we will be driving through some creek beds and some things like that. It's going to be a ton of fun. Skip this one. So Justin talked earlier about the boss, right? So that's who we call the driver, the end user of our product. That's who we have top of mind in everything that we do. And Justin showed you a little bit about the segmentation of all the bosses earlier. Really who we're targeting with this is the work hard, play hard, the hobbyists. These are the ones that are really going to be interested in this type of product. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of that about the technology and features and benefits in it. We're going to start with off-road performance. So of course the first thing we want to say is this is a tire designed for off-road use. You're going to get a flavor of that tomorrow. Now I'm going to poke fun of our marketing department a little bit. You'll see in here we talk about 23-degree attack angles. So we try to come up with these names for the technologies and everything we have, but I want to explain to you what the 23-degree attack angle is. So in 1900, Harvey Firestone founded the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company. And he actually, before that, grew up on a farm in northeast Ohio, Columbiana, about 45 miles east of Akron. And he was very familiar, having experienced farm life back in the late 1800s, of the trials and tribulations of the farmer as tractors really became the go-to tools for farmers. So mechanization of the farm. Back then, tractor tires, you can think of what a railroad car now rides on, just a small steel wheel. That's what the original tractor tires were. So if you can imagine, for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, going over a rudimentary tractor on those kind of, we didn't have icy hot things back then, but very, very difficult environment. So as he became successful in the first few decades of the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, he made it his mission to turn his focus to the farm, to the fields, and really help out the farmers. So he pushed the company to be the first to develop pneumatic rubber tires for the farm. And since then, in the 90 years since the 20s when all that happened, we've had many designs and testing and products and a lot of patent protection around what we've learned. If you think about a farm tire, what is it? It's basically 2 big paddles that go back and forth, right, as you go across the tread. It's kind of just 2 big, really luggy looking elements. Well, over the years, we discovered that if those elements were at 23 degrees, you would get maximum traction in dirt conditions. So our consumer tire engineers borrowed some of that technology from our agriculture department and put it into the MT2. So when you look at these elements on the side, you'll see that they're actually angled at 23 degrees. And we call it, on the marketing side, 23-degree attack angles. Well, that's because we know from our history in the field that that's what gives you the maximum traction in the mud conditions. Three-ply construction in the sidewall. Tomorrow at lunch, we're gonna have a cut section of a tire, and so I can physically show you what this means. But really what it is we have 3 plies in the sidewall itself. Many consumer tires have 1 or 2. So when you get to a tire like an MT tire that's expected to go off-road, it's expected to go through gravel, thorns, lots of different things, that second and third ply in the side will help reinforce this area of the tire and help prevent punctures. So honestly, if you're gonna play in the MT segment, you have to have 3 plies. It's a very important feature for this product. We also talked a little bit about the chip tear resistance. So when a tire is in a standstill in a gravel, in a bunch of gravel, you step on the accelerator and it starts spinning, there's going to be a lot of stress and strain on the elements. And one thing that can happen is that lugs can actually tear out if they're not designed properly. So we have a test at Bridgestone that we take our truck tires through, where it's a very extreme test to simulate exactly that. These drivers go through a lot of gravel, starts and stops. This is the first tire that I know of that went through that test and had 0 lugs tear out in that extreme condition. So very, very good chip and tear and lug tear out performance in this tire. Now third is wet and snow. So I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of consumers. I sit in our focus groups, I go to 4x4 jamborees and just interact with these users and talk to them. And one thing that I found is that a lot of truck drivers inherently understand the mechanism that gives them traction in mud. So they understand that you want the big luggy looking elements, you want void, you want the tire to be self-cleaning, you don't want mud and rocks and things to get stuck in the void and in between the elements. But a lot of those drivers, they think that mechanism that gives them traction in mud is also what gives them traction in snow. And in reality, it's the opposite that gives you traction in snow. So think about if you want to make a snowman, what do? You make a snowball, put it on the ground, and you start rolling, and what happens? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger because snow sticks to snow. So in any tire, for it to have snow performance, you want snow to be retained in the tread pattern so you can get that snow on snow traction as a part of the tire rolls through, making contact with the ground. Well, in order to have snow retained in the tread pattern, one of the things that we've done is we've added siping to the MT2. So these smaller cuts within the tread elements, those are called sipes. And so one of the main reasons we added them was to get increased snow performance. And we can tell you more about it at the Q&A tomorrow as well. In terms of performance improvements from the MT to the MT2, the destination MT to the destination MT2, there's a lot of off-road performance improvements we'll talk about, and there's a lot of snow performance improvements we'll talk about. The final thing I'll say is this: despite what the rendering looks like, if you look at the tire itself, this tire is also studdable. So we have the pinholes in the tire so that if someone who's going to use this tire wants to put studs in it, they can. And actually, a fun fact, next time you're at an ice rink watching a hockey game, look and see what tires the Zamboni has, because chances are it's going to have Firestone destination MTs on it. And then confidence guaranteed. So like most of our Firestone tires, this comes with a 30-day buy and try. We realize it's not a low cost purchase. This is certainly a great tire, but we want people to be satisfied. We don't want someone to buy our product and then not like it and not have a recourse. So we have a 30-day buy and try. They can buy the tire, drive on it for up to 30 days, and return it if they're not satisfied with the performance. Current generation product, we have 23 sizes. In the destination MT2 that we're launching, we're going to 29. And for the first time, we're going to have 3 37-inch sizes in the lineup. So we're very excited about that. We're excited about our expanded market offering. All of these sizes are launching in a matter of weeks on July 1st. Image fitment, so if we're talking MT tires, we're thinking trucks, Jeeps, those kinds of vehicles. So Jeep Wrangler, Rubicon, Toyota Tacoma TRD. These are a lot of the vehicles that when I'm out and see the destination MT, these are the kinds of vehicles that I see it on. And so this kind of just summarizes it. We've got off-road performance, built tough, wet and snow, confidence guaranteed, 29 client sizes. And I'm also gonna give you just a very quick, maybe sneak peek into what we're gonna do tomorrow. You guys we're gonna take you out to a decently remote location. Very professional organization is gonna take you through some driving exercises in the morning. It's gonna be kind of a fun drive. You're gonna go on a course just on the Destination MT2s. You're gonna be kind of just getting a feel for how to drive in these different conditions, go through some pre-feds, go up some hills, go down some hills. It's gonna be a ton of fun. We were out there today and everyone enjoyed it. And then after lunch, actually at lunch, we're gonna have a Q&A panel. Myself, the engineer who actually designed this tire, and then another one of our engineers we're gonna have a Q&A interaction with you. So we'll be able to answer questions at that time as well. And then in the afternoon, we're gonna have a comparison versus one of our competitors. So BFG has a big presence in the truck space, and so we're gonna put their MT tire, the TAKM2, we're gonna put it to the test and see how it stacks up against the new Destination MT, the new Destination MT2. So with that, we do have time for a few questions if you want. If not, we'll be with you all day tomorrow. Like I said, we'll have the Q&A panel, and drinks and dinner are going to be just outside the doors right here. So unless there are questions, we'll open it up to dinner. Yeah.
What kind of tread life on the MT2 do you expect?
Yeah, so good question. We don't have a warranty. Most of the segment doesn't have a wear warranty on the MT tires because it's very variable between the conditions that you take it on, how much off-roading you do, where you go, what kind of gravel, what the alignment is on your vehicle. So we don't have a warranty, but I'll say with testing it does stack up very well with the key competitors in the segment. So we're confident it will perform to the expectations of the segment.
Is the load rating like C to E or that kind of thing?
Right, mostly load range E on these tires. There are by size, there are a few C. I think we might even have one D, but the majority of the size is load range E. The whole line is Q speed rated.
And towing wise, would these suit like a 3/4 ton, 2,500?
Yeah, so the load carrying capacity will tie in with that. So, these can be put on the 3/4 ton, half-ton pickup trucks that have the same size and load index on them. So it's model by model.
You said you had the 0 ones here out on the testing. Was that just within the Firestone brand or any tire across the board? Any tire brand?
So specifically on this one, it was the first time I'd ever seen any tire that we had, and this is an internal test. Right? This is the first time I'd ever seen any tire not experience at least one wear tear out. And usually it's aggressive enough. There's usually multiple wear tear outs. Because it's a simulated extreme condition,
Right.
To really put it through the test and show one performance area.
Where are you guys manufacturing this time?
Most of these tires are manufactured at our plant in Joliet. There are a few plants that are making it, but most of the sizes are made in Canada.
Would you say that the Cam2 is your biggest rival in the tire world? And if so, how have you done to make this tire your eyes superior to the BFG?
Yeah, so good question. I would say BFG is one of the highest respected tires in the market out there. With a few other, Toyo Country MT, I see that one a lot. So maybe those two. I think you'll see. So I'll answer your question in a few ways. I think it starts with performance first and foremost. So I think you're going to notice some differences tomorrow between the two tires. I think they'll be favorable in our direction, but I'll kind of let you be the judge of that. So one thing we're doing is hopefully getting the word out, with our marketing efforts. Hopefully you guys may tell some of that story based on whatever you experience as well. And then just with our whole Firestone brand, Justin shows you a few truck stuff, imaging. So we really are trying to put a big push behind the Firestone brand being legitimate truck tire offering. So, you know, I think if we look at some of the brand metrics, Justin doesn't show, but we have that detail of consideration for the Firestone brand on the rise, intent to purchase. From 2012 to 16, since we've kind of done this big push, we're seeing all those metrics increase for the Firestone brands. Yeah, if you want to see that data, we have some slides that we have to share.
Can you share what the sidewall layers consist of, the plies?
Sure, yeah, and if you want to ask me tomorrow, actually, we'll have a good section, and
Yeah,
I'll show you right there.
That's fine,
Yeah.
thank you.
And so maybe, along with that, maybe the one more thing I'll say, if I look at the Destination MT versus the MT2, so one of the things that we've done in the new generation product is we have put more rubber in this area of the tire, so in the we kind of call this the off shoulder, the upper sidewall area. It looks nice, right? I mean, all this detail, it kind of looks aggressive and everything, but it's functional as well. You're going to drive through some mud pits and creek beds and things tomorrow, right? So having just a little bit of extra biting edges on the side, that could be the difference between you getting stuck in a mud pit or being able to have the traction to drive yourself out. So, you know, these elements out here, it's also a feature that's going to help improve your performance when you're in an off-road condition. And I'll turn it back over to Rachel then. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.